Dinesh D'Souza's book, 2000 Mules, is out now. So I was able to listen to that, and very, very thought-provoking, controversial. I have no idea where I can post this video that it will be allowed to get any traction. But he starts the book with a smoking gun for him. And that's that True the Vote was able to purchase the cell phone tracking that these companies use to market to you. They actually will put a fence around an area, and you get near McDonald's and Burger King will send you a coupon. And so they were able to buy the cell phone data, and to them, they are saying the smoking gun is that there are 2,000 people that went to large quantities. They set the perimeter, I think 20 or more drop boxes with their cell phones, and at the same time they went to these nonprofit places that are for getting out the vote, that are, according to them, emphasizing getting out the vote in Democratic areas. He sees that as the lawsuit that should have been brought right away, that all this money was funneled into these nonprofits, and then they emphasize getting out the vote in Democratic areas. And so these drop boxes were put there. It was part of the Zuckerbucks. But so their smoking gun is the cell phone data. And I know Bill Barr and others said, oh, well, just because they went to the library where there happened to be a drop box doesn't mean that they were at a drop box. But he says that cell phone data is much more accurate than that. I know I misplaced my cell phone, and I was able to bring up the Find My Device, and it told me my cell phone was out in the shed. I knew where it was. He brings up the example of a friend who loses their cell phone in the field, and it takes you to the cell phone, that this data can be pretty accurate. And so to them, that's the smoking gun. They were at these nonprofits, and they go from the nonprofits, and they would go to in Detroit, there was a guy who went to 100 different drop boxes. And you can see that on his cell phone data, that he went to all these places. And they also did some correlating, and they said that a lot of the people who were at Antifa riots were also on the list of people, of the cell phones that went to Antifa riots, also went to multiple drop boxes. And so he starts with that. That is the big emphasis of the book, these 2,000 mules. They give example of how this has been done for a long time, that they've done it in some Hispanic communities, that it was a common practice. They have whistleblowers that came forward but would not reveal their name for fear of reprisal. And what's interesting is that they get told, I believe in Georgia, that there's not enough probable cause to use the video that's supplied by the state of Georgia. The other states were supposed to keep videos, and they somehow lost the video or didn't have video to give them. So the video evidence that they show these people putting these multiple ballots into drop boxes, and the cell phone data, they say that's not enough probable cause to do the investigation. Not enough probable cause. And so his point is, how did they pick up all these people from January 6th? They picked them up with cell phone data and video evidence. And there it was more than enough for probable cause. Obviously, if you've paid attention to what's happened to the January 6th people, it's a big deal. So then he follows the money. So he specifically talks about the Zuckerberg bucks from Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, that he gave money to help with the election process, but he had strings attached. You got to put out more drop boxes and more drop boxes in these inner cities. And so in Detroit, in Philadelphia, in Milwaukee, in Atlanta, they put up a lot of these boxes. And so you follow the money. So George Soros, Zuckerbucks, the guy from Twitter, this money came in, it was funneled to nonprofit agencies, and sometimes it's even more detailed. It goes through one agency to another agency, and these nonprofits, again, he thinks that should be an IRS investigation, because if you're a nonprofit but you're clearly trying to deliver an election for Democrats, that's not something that should be getting nonprofit money. But he follows the money because here's what he says is the clearly illegal thing. In some states, you might be able to take a ballot for somebody, a family member, to the box. But what you can't do is get paid to do this. And so he's got video of a man on a bicycle starting to leave, stopping and going back and taking a picture of the box. And they have the whistleblower telling them that they had to take pictures of the ballots at the box, take pictures of the box in order to get paid. And that's what's illegal. You can't pay people to harvest ballots. You can't pay people to bring these ballots. And so he goes into the details of how this has been done before and the way that it works. So according to him, the majority of the people who see the film see that there's a problem, that something happened. And I remember being frustrated and wondering, why did these key swing states all stop counting their votes and pause until the next morning? And the majority of the film, including independents, think that there was a problem in the election. And so when people review it, they'll say, you don't need to watch the video. We can just tell you it's just more of the same stuff. And he points out about how he didn't get on the bandwagon with the way that the votes were stripped, that were flipped, that the pillow guy did and was unable to clearly demonstrate to somebody who's not a computer expert that these votes were flipped, but that they took the time to develop this, and he thinks that this is not Euclidean proof. He doesn't know if it's enough to prove in a court of law, but he's convinced that they stole the election from Donald Trump, and that they did it again in Atlanta, and therefore stole the Senate as well, because they had a runoff in Atlanta and they had this apparatus in place and did it there as well, and they would have the mules operating there as well. Thanks for making it through the video.